1. All right, let's get back in here on Diamond Conversations, a part of the Place to Be Nation podcasting network on Place to Be Nation Pop. Wrapping into a pretty cool stretch that we have on the show as we're sitting down and welcoming in the assistant pitching coach of the Los Angeles Dodgers, the one and only Mr. Connor McGuiness, joining the program today. Also giving a head nod to the man in the middle there. He's the local statistician here on the show, Mr. Doug Barclay, joining the program. But Connor McGuiness, the topic of today's show. Mr. McGuiness, how's everything going in your neck of the woods?
It's going great, man. Going great, hanging in, and hoping we'll get to see some baseball here soon.
Yeah, hoping so. And as you're sitting there, you're watching the draft. This is the closest we've had in a few months to like being in game, and this is really cool to watch the draft take center stage. And the draft feels like the NFL draft because there's so much hype around it right now. But yes. That's us looking at it. I'm sure you're looking at it in a completely different way.
No, it's been fun. I'm really excited about the 3 arms we snagged. You know, obviously I'm biased being the pitching coach, so it's great to see the org picking up some other arms to add in. And we got very lucky, man. We got 3 really solid arms to work with. Really high ceilings on all 3 of them too. So the org did a great job, really great job so far. We still got a couple rounds to go. It's been strange with the 5 rounds. Yeah. You know, a lot of work has gone into place. A lot of guys behind the scenes been grinding, you know, limited access to the 2020 season. A lot of these kids haven't played baseball in a really long time. So,
yeah,
you know, tip of the cap to everyone in the scouting realm trying to get it all figured out.
But interesting enough to see how everybody's stepped up and really gotten on the internet and the interwebs and the social media and the calls, the Zoom meetings, all this stuff. Has this been really cool to kind of work this in to a modern age of baseball as it is, but now we're getting even more modern and having something like these these really close meetings here, interactive now.
Yeah, no, it's been great. And it's been fun too. It's opened up kind of a different realm to where just coaches, honestly, around the country at all levels. We've got time now a little bit, the excuse over the time. So it's been fun being able to pick the brains of everyone, kind of see what the private sector is up to. I know our organization's done a fantastic job just kind of keeping everyone in the loop, tons of Zoom calls, checking in. It's nice to try to create some sense of normalcy here in this strange world we're kind of in right now. But done a great job keeping everyone kind of in one unit. So it's been fun.
It's very cool to hear when it's reported on that all these teams are getting together, they're doing the meetings, and you see some of the pictures they get out there of all the guys and all the boxes. And as hard as that probably is to navigate and see who's doing what, it's still cool nonetheless that this is where we've progressed and that we have this technology available to us. But as we also are joined here by your brother, Mr. Mike McGuiness, and we complete the quadra group here as the 4 brothers take the stage. You guys are going to talk about a little CleanFuego here in a minute. But Mike, how you doing? Welcome to Diamond Conversations.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having us. And sorry I'm on a couple minutes late, but appreciate the time. Connor, were you soapboxing when I came on? What was that?
Sorry, man. I was trying to fill in your gap. Come on.
Fair enough. I should go outside. I should learn. I don't want to be inside this lighting. All right, keep going. Sorry, ignore me.
We got all the typical brother stuff out of the way, so he put himself over big time before you jumped on. So don't worry about it. Well, I'm sure we're both used to it. So why don't you guys tell us about CleanFuego? I mean, I've really been studying it. I've been watching it. You guys have done something really cool and introduced a really nice tool here to the baseball world. Why don't you guys kind of tell us about it, where it came about, and how it's kind of developed? Because it is a very helpful piece of technology and in the shape of like what would you even say? Like a disc almost. But please tell us about CleanFuego.
Yeah, the love child of a hockey puck and a baseball. Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
No, I'm going to defer to Connor because I always like when he goes down the rabbit hole. So, Con, take that on.
Yeah. No, so when I first joined the Dodgers, it was fall 2016. So first spring training 2017. And, the guys are going through rotations during the day. And one of the rotations was a spin field station. And they basically had hockey pucks out there. Guys had drawn or put black tape around the ball just to get some visual feedback on it. And Mike and I were talking, and I was telling him what we were doing, and he kind of cracked up. He's like, "My goodness, you guys are the Dodgers. We're throwing hockey pucks. We can't, get something a little more realistic towards the ball." And that sparked this epically long journey. And Fortunate enough, Mike, just with his strange, weird connections that he has, knew a guy. What was it, Mike? Mechanical physicist, engineer. So we basically
mechanical engineer. Used to work for NASA. Ronald's our number one, man. Ronald's great.
Yeah, he's our guy. So we're like, hey, can you build us a ball? So he jumped on it, and we threw out a number of prototypes. I got to use them and develop the guys in the Dodger system, which was really, really fun. A number of guys have used them and either been involved in trades or able to get up to another level.
Yeah.
Dean Kramer is a big name. He was part of that Mochada deal. Devin Smeltzer with the Twins. All these guys I actually had back coming up through the minors and whatnot. And pitchers just really don't understand. I mean, back, you're playing in high school or whatnot, you might face an arm that's throwing 88 miles an hour. No one's touching the kid. And then this guy comes in throwing 92 and everyone's crushing him. And, what's going on? And we really didn't know how to explain it before. And now with all the new technology and whatnot, how clean your spin is, how clean can you get that ball to be is so important and can really change someone's career and just someone's game in general. So we wanted to produce a tool that not only allowed you to see what was going on, but also help train and develop the feel of getting that asset into your arsenal. And so far, the testimonials and the results have been fantastic. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, and that's the cool, just to chime in my two half senses, it's the immediate visual feedback. And athletes, man, they know themselves, they know their bodies, they know how they move, they know what their physical limitations are and aren't. And being able to adjust in real time, being able to determine with this training device how I can maneuver my body's natural motion to be the most efficient in this particular throw has been awesome to see. And that's at Connor's level. And then the lower levels at the youth levels. I mean, you guys probably had coaches always yelling at you, get behind the ball. You got to get behind the ball. And as a kid, even me, it'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I don't know what you mean. Whereas with Fuego, again, you have that visual interpretation, that visual feedback of this is what we're talking about. Now go do you, but this is what we're talking about. Here's the foundation, but figure it out on your own. And that's been the cool thing about Fuego is just seeing these guys take the device and run with it.
Yeah. Now, actually, having not had a chance to hold one to see what it's like what does the actual device feel like in your hand? And giving it to a pitcher and saying, okay, now we're going to start working with X, Y, and Z. What's it actually feel like when you get the ball in your hand?
Yeah, so it's honestly going to feel like almost, a weighted plastic. And really part of the genius behind the design of it was the making sure that we had center of mass. And the idea is it's an unbelievable interior design. It almost looks kind of like a honeycomb.
Right.
With, weighted ball bearing in the center. And what it does is, honestly, if you ask any kid to pick up a baseball and show me your four-seam grip or show me your grip, how do you hold it? Everyone's going to be a little different. Everyone's going to be a little off. So one of the components we really wanted to hammer home was just training you to find the middle of the baseball. It's the hardest thing to do when you look at the orientation of seams on a ball is how on earth am I supposed to find the middle of the baseball? And so if I then tell you to grab a two-seam, majority of the time we're all going to have very similar grips. Because if you run those fingers parallel with the two-seam on the ball, the only grip I can guarantee you're going to have the middle of the baseball. So we wanted to develop something that helped not only give you that visual feedback, but also give you the enhanced sensation of what it's like to actually hold the middle of the baseball with a four-seam orientation. So those, we previously doing 3D prototypes. These are injection molds. They're incredibly durable, which is what we loved. A lot of people ask us, man, why didn't you put leather on it? Or, it doesn't really feel like a baseball right out the get-go. Well, it's a training tool. And if you know baseball players, we're not the cleanest people in the world. Like, you got the sunscreen all over the place. You got stuff all in the bag. You might be hitting, and you got pine tar and everything, dirt and whatnot. Like, if we put leather on the ball, you throw it twice and you scuff it up, it doesn't work anymore. And so, the dynamics, the flight of it are incorrect. So we wanted something that was reliable, durable. You knew it was a training tool when you're throwing it, so you just don't become obsessed with the way you're throwing it. And then it helps actually translate to the actual baseball. At the end of the day, the goal is not necessarily to be a phenomenal CleanFuego thrower, but to be an excellent, phenomenal baseball thrower. And that's the idea, to get that sensation to bleed into your regular throw as you go. So at first it's like, man, what does this feel like? What is it? But like any ball or any baseball you get, once you rub it up, once you play with it, it really starts to kind of blend into what a real baseball feels like. It's amazing what they've done with the design.
Yeah, I was watching Mike's videos on the website, and showing the different angles that you can throw from and how each different kind of thrower, how the ball or the Fuego kind of comes in there. And it's really interesting how the trajectory really kind of comes out of the arm.
Yeah.
But they've come a long way from, the old Rawlings balls that have the finger slots where you learn how to throw a changeup or a curveball. Totally. And to have that in the guy's hand. So the first time you put that in somebody's hand, what's their response?
Well, the first time you put the CleanFuego in their hands, you mean?
Yeah, first time you put it in their hands.
They're just like, whoa, what is this? This seems kind of cool. Like, why? What's going? Like, what do I do? Throw it. Just kind of throw it. And once they see it, the majority of guys actually end up coming around slightly the outside part of the ball, and they're just not unaware of it. So the spin orientation has what's called a little more gyro spin on it, or inefficient spin. And that's honestly just how your arm accelerates. So when you throw our bad boy, if you're inefficient and you're cutting a little bit, this thing is going to cut for you. It's very unforgiving. Right. You're going to find out right away. So it was a nice tactic as a pitching coach or whatnot. You get a new player. I know at one point when I was in Great Lakes, it was about 82 different guys come through that level just in 1 year. So you're seeing guys constantly, and to get them to buy into something, or they're getting hit in a certain way and they can't comprehend it or understand why, this immediately sets off a light bulb once they throw it and they go, oh, wow, okay, something's off here. And then when they see some of the other guys throwing it and how successful they've been, you get Kershaw to throw this thing, or some of those super efficient throwers that are at Doolittle, Verlander, Cole, these guys, when they throw these things, that it's very, very clean. You can see how much of a separator it is right off the bat.
And how about the results? Oh, sorry, Doug. Go ahead.
No, how much easier does it make your job as a coach to be able to give someone that type of feedback like that?
It's incredible. I mean, anytime you can give a tool where really you're limiting the explanation of what it really is, and it can be as simple as you want it to be, and it can be as complicated as you want it to be. But the less talking we can do as coaches, the better off we are, and it just creates buy-in. But, we talk about it on the pitching side. It's excellent for position players, really just, having their balls carry longer from the outfield, catchers throws down to second base, just get an idea of, man, my ball's running off, or it's just kind of dying on the path in. So just it's beneficial to really anyone on a simple format. But it also can be incredibly complicated, because if I ask a kid, hey, we got to work on a harder slider, we want to see that spin direction at 10 o'clock, and he just looks at you, what the heck does that mean? What are you talking about? 10 o'clock slider? I have no idea. Well, you can take the CleanFuego and actually reverse engineer the pitch, put that exact feel into their hand, and work on some of the cues in the fields, and then alternate back and forth between CleanFuego and the baseball. And it bleeds into their throw, and then boom, a light bulb goes off. So it's much easier to show them a CleanFuego, turn it, set the axis, and let's go, versus let's try to target a 10 o'clock slider spin direction. It's much easier this way.
So with all the months, the weeks and months between when, all the guys have been in camp, a device like CleanFuego must make it easier to keep up with people when you're talking with someone over Zoom, or you're checking in with a pitcher that don't actually have right in front of you. Can you talk a little bit about how that works?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's been nonstop. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the call, Zoom calls and whatnot. But we're checking in with guys constantly, especially early on. Guys are throwing into nets. What can I work on? What are some things that I could get better at? And this is a really easy tool to implement just into your throwing program. And honestly, my favorite way to use it is as a warm-up tool, just to kind of set the standard of that, find your release, set your sights per se. And the guys just really, really appreciate the feel. But to be able to give them this, I've even shown there, we have a little video floating around. You can lay down your back and work down on all your spins and feels and grips and whatnot. And instead of throwing it and then you got to wait and read a TrackMan, a portable TrackMan or Rapsodo unit, or some of these interior tech balls, you just know right away. Yeah, that was a good one. Nope, that wasn't a good one. So it helps train that immediate feedback, and you can kind of keep the ball rolling. But it's been massive help for these guys during this time to just enhance overall feel in general.
That's the big thing too that they've been attaching to is the feel component of it. Again, we have the heavier. So if you think about it, if you're just going 70%, but you're working on, a changeup or something like that, that weight, emphasize isn't the right word, but exaggerate probably isn't the right, but it gives a little bit more where you're going, okay, that came off the ring finger. That felt good. Like, I like that. Let me try and duplicate that. Or, man, I'm not pronating enough. I got to work on this. And to Connor's point, it's just that natural progression into what you're normally doing to better figure out in real time how to make it better, how to make it more efficient, how to do, an adjustment to get what you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you could bring it up one more time, just every time you bring it up, I'm trying to take a look at it with the grips, right? And finding the right grip. Do guys have to have a certain style of grip on it, or is it basically the Fuego kind of adjusts to whatever your normal, routine will be picking that thing up for the first time?
You want to jump on that? Or did you miss it?
Yeah, no, you repeat the question. My camera kicked out.
He's talking about grip.
Yeah, I was talking about with the grip. I was saying, with picking it up and the grip itself on the ball, because, just the sheer, just the oddity of the shape that we talked about. Like, so people finding the right grip, do they have to adjust their grip to learn with it, or can they kind of use the same kind of simplicities they use in their regular routines to get their hands on the Fuego?
Yeah, no, excellent question too. What's cool about it, and Mike, if you don't mind holding it up to the screen, it helps kind of accelerate the process, the educational process. Yeah, how are you holding the baseball? Are you using it to your advantage? So, which way is your horseshoe, right? Are you going off your fingertips? Are you going first crease? Are you going second crease? Do you rest it in the pads? Are you flush around your fingers? Where's your thumb placement? One of the guys that loves this ball, worked with it a lot, and I've had the privilege of coaching for a number of years, is our guy, Gavin Lux. And he was having an issue when he was feeling the ball. He'd pick up the ball, and his thumb was on the side of the ball. And the ball was just kind of falling off in air, and he picked this bad boy up, started training with it, and you can't put your thumb on the side of the ball when you field it. When you're training with CleanFuego, you have to learn how to get that feel of the thumb under the baseball. And then taking that a step further with pitchers, where do you want that thumb to rest? Everyone is different. Everyone is unique in their own way. But what's nice is after just a few throws, you can try all the variations I just went through in one day and figure out what's best for you. Do I need to have my thumb hover under my middle finger, hover under my index finger? Do I need to cock it? Do I need to be on the side of my thumb? Whatever it may be, you can accomplish that much faster and get that feedback right away as you throw it. It's been really helpful in that front.
Yeah, you can see how it's working. And again, it's that real-time adjustment. It's that, all right, I seem to be squeezing a lot more with my middle finger. Does my thumb do better under that middle finger now? Also, it's, it's big on center of ball. To Connor's point, for infielders, for outfielders, you don't want to be off to the side. And CleanFuego will wobble if you're off to the side. So again, it just kind of helps you with those mental touches, that natural, again, I keep saying the natural progression, but that natural touch of, hey, I know that when my middle finger and my index finger are just barely touching, I'm pretty good center, because again, that's going to translate over to a baseball. The way we replicated this thing, guys, we're down to a tolerance level of 0.0025, 4 sheets of paper. Wow. Our weight's basically spot on, but again, we have up seam, we have down seam. We're mimicking those beveling and those horseshoes to make sure that, again, when you're going 5 throws with CleanFuego, 5 throws with a regular baseball, it's translating.
Interesting.
Excellent. And now, one question, over to Connor. Mike, you mentioned the mental side of it, and Connor, you mentioned, one player that you've had in the organization for a few years. I met you via this one right up here, the CUA Cardinals, and our mutual friend. He asked me to refer to him as landmark conference legend, Chris Nee. So I want to ask you, it was only, as your career has risen, it was only a few years ago that you were in the landmark conference, that you were, coaching for the Cardinals. I'm sure there's a lot of things that are different about coaching for the Dodgers and the CUA Cardinals, but tell me about some of the things that are similar about getting a guy and trying to, impart your wisdom on him as a college student versus someone who's facing some of the best hitters that have ever lived.
Without a doubt. No, and honestly, believe it or not, it's not that different. It may be surprising to hear, but it's really not that different. I'm sitting there, let's say, I didn't have the luxury of actually coaching Chris. We were closer in age, but, a name at Catholic, Mierswa or Sean Carroll, some of these fun guys that we had there. It's the same stuff. And being able to coach and help them, a lot of the techniques that I use there are the techniques I've brought with me to the Dodgers, and they've kind of helped accelerate my learning curve with some of these other things. But a lot of it is really similar. And it's just, it boils down to like a timing and a feel component to it as well. I mean, a small adjustment. I was joking around with Mike the other day of like, sometimes the best move as a pitching coach is just tell the kid, hey, forget that ball. That's the worst ball ever. Let me try a new ball. Get a different ball. It's like the old tin cup. Hey, put the quarter in your left pocket on this next swing or whatever. There are different ways you can attack it. Or you can go into more detailed, scientific sort of thing. It's understanding. You just have to enter the individual's world. How I'm going to coach you, Doug, is going to be very different from how I coach Mike or Walker Buehler. I got to enter their world. I may not say a word to Walker for an entire bullpen session, right? Like, hey, do your thing, man. What am I going to do? Just get in there and get in the way? No. So it just boils down to understanding what does that individual need in that one current moment, being there for them. I don't care if you're a first rounder or a kid that you showed up to campus on the last day at a small Division III. Like, you're getting the same love from me no matter what. And you never know. You could end up being that kid that has to come in because Chris Nee's in the 7th inning and his arm's barking and he can't finish out the doubleheader 7th inning. Ross Natoli's freaking out. We got to get someone going. Who's going in? Like, we got to have, that other guy ready to go. So it's important to treat everyone that same way. But believe it or not, a lot of the same coaching strategies are being implemented here at the big league level too.
And then one more for me, as you kind of ramp up things to get going here, what's the most important thing to keep in mind when you try and get these guys ready after such a long break?
Yeah, it's been tough. You get guys, they're ramping up. We're getting ready to start the season, and COVID hits. So we put our guys through kind of what we call a deload period. And really in layman's terms, all that is you build your guys way up. You don't want to have them just go cold turkey and not throw for a couple of weeks and then try to slowly ramp it up. So what we do is build them up. We were getting ready to hit the season. We had a drawback. We're trying to hit a moving target right now. So we deloaded them and we kind of built them up. They're kind of hovering right now in this middle ground, keeping them ready. Depending on their age, where they are in their career, it's been a unique opportunity for some of these guys to really enhance some of their pitches, their shapes, develop that. And now we're kind of seeing some, talks around July-ish, who knows, but I'm in constant communication with our organization. Mark Pryor is, my goodness, he's the best there is at all this stuff. And he's on top of it, and we're communicating daily. And we're just trying to map it out, make sure everyone's comfortable and wherever they are. Do they have access to a ballpark, someone to throw to? I mean, believe it or not, a lot of our guys are facing high schoolers right now, just to get their reps in and get their action. So, just stay in that communication, having them. And then when we're ready to go, our group's going to be ready to fly.
Awesome. All right, so let's get into the wrap up here now, and we'll get back to CleanFuego here because I don't know which one of you are wearing it, but I'm looking to see that sweet ass CleanFuego logo, the little marketing tool here. I knew somebody had exactly. But
what are you wearing, Connor?
I'm wearing my Great Lakes Goon shirt.
All right.
Shout out Vinny Santarciero. The Great Lakes Loons is our official name, but he did a nice job. This is a throwback back to 2017. It's a fun little play on words. Love this shirt.
But yeah, let's get back to CleanFuego. Let's talk about where people can find information about it. Like I said, I watched some of the testimonial videos. I watched some of the instruction videos that you have on there just to kind of get familiarized with it. And for somebody who's long past his glory days of playing ball and wanting to get out there and play, for me, it was really cool to see it. But kind of give the general plug where you can kind of find more information about it. And if anybody wants to grab a CleanFuego and start learning on their own, where they can get it.
Yeah, definitely. You can go to our website, cleanfuego.com. We are all over social media, though, if you're looking for, as Chad mentioned, testimonials, videos, trainings, whatever. But me and Connor and another guy are pretty much running everything. So if you shoot us a DM, if you shoot us a note, I've been getting tons of videos from dads and kids and honestly some minor league guys saying, hey, how does this look? So again, we just want to make sure the CleanFuego is helping you accomplish what you want to accomplish. But check us out. Instagram, Facebook. We just got on TikTok. We're all over Twitter. But again, you can find where to buy it on the cleanfuego.com website. And yeah, just appreciate you guys letting us come on and chat.
Oh, it's my pleasure. No, I appreciate it. And really quick before you go, getting on the social media apps like that and something like a TikTok, it is very cool to see how you can get that instruction out there in a quick format, and seeing how, like, I get mesmerized by watching the clips of guys throwing and guys hitting, and just seeing these short little videos and kind of taking you inside. So that's really cool that you guys were able to do that. And Connor, before we let you go, anything else you got you want to add before we wrap it up?
No, and Mike's being way too humble. Please know, if you guys are hitting us up on social media, anything like that, that's just Mike. All right, he's running the show.
It's a team, man. Allegedly, a team.
He's doing all the packaging. He's doing all. Hey guys, those handwritten notes you're getting, that's coming from Mike, man. He goes above and beyond.
There we go.
Everyone I'm hearing about, they're raving about it. I am not doing anything. Don't dare give me any credit on that front. Mike is running the business unbelievably well. So, no, I appreciate you guys, and really appreciate the time, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, we gotta get you some gear, guys. Gotta get you some Fuego swag.
Hey, that's why I mentioned the logo, because I was digging it. I'm not gonna lie.
We just dropped that unicorn fastball, so
I'm digging that one as well.
Yeah, man, got that all trademarked up. So we're excited. We're excited. That's
great. Very cool. And we'd love to have you guys come back on and talk a little bit more. Maybe 6 months, see where it is and how far you guys are coming, and hopefully talk a little more baseball than what we got right now. So we'll let Connor get back there to the draft. Mike, we appreciate you coming on as well. And if you want to find out more about Diamond Conversations, you can hit us up on Twitter. It's at Diamond Convo. Or you want to follow me, it's at Chad EMB. For the statistician, Doug Barclay, he is also on there as well. And if you haven't caught us now, you'll catch us on the flip side. Thanks for joining us.